Never thirsty. Never thirsty.
The people who are saying it's bringing a knife to a gunfight, like you're not bringing this to a gunfight. Like there's no gunfight.
Right,
You don't want a
exactly.
gunfight. Like unless you're in
How many rounds?
Oh, go ahead.
Good.
So
How many?
you can load up 5 rounds in one magazine, and it works like a traditional pistol. The same, what we call manual of arms. You drop the magazine, you load the magazine. It has safety triggers on both sides, safety fire, and then you use it the same way you would use a pistol. But as you can see, the with the barrel, it's a much bigger barrel. So, even if you are approached by a police officer, you should not have this in your hands. You should be on the ground. They look at it and they look at the barrel. They know that is not a true firearm.
How accurate is it compared to?
So it has an effective range of 60 feet.
Wow.
So you're in a safe distance. We think non-lethal. You got pepper spray. You got the little stun guns. And we just think that that's too close for comfort, right? And by that time, you're already in the mix.
Yeah.
And so from this, you can de-escalate from 60 feet accurately. You have 5 rounds. One CO2 canister can shoot 20 effective rounds. And, these are the things where you can defend yourself, and it won't get on the news because it's not that type of situation, right? And that's what we want. We want to let people live and feel confident about whatever it is that they want to do. When I would drive from Oregon to California to visit my family, my 9mm goes away, and I had pepper spray and a pocket knife, and it didn't make me feel that much better about driving, interstate. But now I have this launcher that's legal to carry wherever I go.
Just what you just said is like such a fascinating statement. That last one, like when I drive from state to state, like the last thing on my mind is like, where do I have a knife with me in case something happens? But in reality, it's a dangerous place out there. You never know what can happen. I guess it's better to be safe than sorry. But I guess I wanted to say, like, you mentioned that you're an enthusiast. You have a lot of firearms, whatever. If someone is like a sporting or a hobbyist that likes guns and shooting targets and doing that type of stuff, then that's a different thing. But for take that group aside, anybody that's buying a gun is buying it to never use it, and that's what it should be, right? You're not buying a gun to use it unless you're a criminal. Right. Or something, and you have some idea of what you're going to do with that gun. But if you're buying it to protect yourself, the goal is you're buying this thing, you know how to use it, but you never have to.
Right. So our point is, we want people to buy this, and we don't want people to buy it and checkbox, I put it in the back of my closet. When something happens, I'll pull it out. That's the last thing you want, because you're not going to be very familiar with it.
Sure.
What's so awesome about our platform is you can take it in your backyard, set up targets, load it up, shoot all day long, and go back inside and have lunch, right? And like with legal firearms, you got to drive to a range, you got to set the whole day. Ammunition is super expensive. Yeah. Now it's like $1 a round, where ours is $0.25. And
it's also probably like a safer option. Like young people want to learn how to shoot and stuff like that.
Absolutely. And then what we recommend, if you live in like a city, just let your neighbors know, because like if they see you in the backyard, holding something like this, they might freak out. But I
think that happened to WireFang. He went out with his device, and his neighbors were like, "What's going on out there?"
But
how loud is it?
It's like shooting a gun. So it's not. Yeah, exactly. It's like there's hardly a sound where it's like alarming, where someone will call the police. Like, okay, someone's shooting a real gun. Nowhere near that. There is just a sound of air being released. This launcher can shoot a projectile at 300 feet per second. So once it hits, and what's very cool about this is, all you're doing especially with the irritant rounds, is you want that powder to disperse. So let's say if I have someone, I come home and there's some guy in my house and he's hiding behind the kitchen wall, and I can't get a direct shot. All I have to do is shoot the back wall, the ceiling, the floor. I just need that powder to disperse within a 6 feet area, and then that guy's going to start choking. And then once it starts choking and really having like his face feels like it's on fire, then I can, call the police, evacuate the house, and at the end of the day, no one dies. This guy lives.
Yeah. How much is this?
So the product is $359 for the kit.
Now, how much is a real gun?
Real guns range from anywhere, depending on high or low, from as low as $200 to $5,000, right?
Right.
So, but for us, it's not really a comparison of should I buy this or should I buy a gun, because like it really is, if you're not ready to own a gun, not like I was. I grew up in Southern California, and I spent 10 years in New York, going to Oregon. Getting a gun and bringing a gun inside a home where I had small kids was one of the scariest things I ever had to do as an adult. But things were going crazy. Like, the nation was on fire, and I didn't want take any chances. And I guess
this all sort of happened during the pandemic and during sort of like the social stuff that was going on. Like, that's when you came up with this idea?
No, so like full transparency, I'm not the founder of the company. I run marketing and sales, but the true founders of the company, it's been around for a while, but we were selling a 40 millimeter round to law enforcement, and then our CEO Brian Gans had met an engineer that took that perspective and created something in this size, and we pivoted the company. And then it was like 3 years ago, and then when all that stuff was happening, people were searching online, like, well, how do I protect myself? And a lot of these people didn't want to get firearms. And as you look at some stats in 2020, there were 9 million new gun owners, because people were just freaked out, right? And so we're giving folks that alternative solution. Like, if you're a non-gun owner, this will, give you some peace of mind that is easy to use. With our launcher, there's zero recoil. So when you shoot, it just stays still. It doesn't jerk back like a regular handgun. And that advantage allows you to, let's say if I miss my first shot, I know where that shot's going and I can adjust on the fly. So your accuracy is a lot better, but it gives folks a peace of mind. And then secondly, with people with firearms enthusiasts like myself, like if I knew about the Byrna, I probably wouldn't have gone to lethal, but there was no other choice for me. So I thought, and being a responsible gun enthusiast, I know that the Byrna, not because I work here, that I need to have an intermediary solution before I have to reach for the ultimate solution.
Can I ask you some out there kind of questions?
Sure.
So basically, you mentioned, there's chaos going on, people are all worried. And I guess if you follow certain sort of wormholes down certain internets, maybe you think there's a civil war about to happen, or, the left versus the right, whatever you want to call it. And so it seems like this is a perfect time to launch a product like this, like you said, where everyone's trying to buy guns, and this is a lot easier and safer to use.
Never thirsty. Never thirsty.